there's a lot of people that are so genuine here too. You know, like you're surrounded by Latino culture, and you know, Latinos are so big on like family and like hospitality. And I remember when I was moving into my building, like it was really nice because anytime I had like a bunch of boxes or like people could clearly see that I'm like struggling with something. Yeah. If there's a man within earshot, he's like, "Oh my God, don't worry, I will do this for you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's so nice." Yeah. You know, so like there's good and the bad with everywhere, but I think if you know what you want,
I was going to comment on what you just said with the Latino culture.
What?
I was talking to a guy about this the other day, and he was like, I think women hear that American men like Spanish women because of like, you know, the beauty of them, whatever else. They're beautiful women. That's great. But no one tends to talk about the values of a Spanish woman and like the fact that they are very family oriented. Yeah. And they also are the type of like woman that's very traditional, you know? And this is once again a little like kind of like a pushy topic, but those are things that you don't see a lot with like the modern woman.
Traditional values.
You don't see that.
I agree.
And so when you meet like a true Spanish woman who is like really involved with her mother and like she's got a close relationship with her family, her brothers, her sisters, like things like that. That shit's cool. Like for like a guy to see that and be like, okay, like those things still exist. Yeah. Because they are in a way like kind of like phasing out of like, I don't know, this modern, I don't know how to say it with like the woman.
Feminism.
Yeah. It's tough, you know, but like, I don't think those things get addressed.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that because I also, like, I have conversations like this with my friends all the time. Like because all my girlfriends are, I would say we all lean more towards like the traditional type of values. And what we were saying was it is really interesting when you meet a woman that is on the opposite end of that spectrum, which listen, to anybody listening, everybody has free will. I respect anybody's, however you want to live your life is however you want to live your life. That's not my business. But I will say, I think it can be a little bit jarring sometimes when you do meet a woman that you can tell is very jaded when it comes to men and like the patriarchy and like all these different things. And I think there are negatives for sure, as with everything else. But I think a lot of people tend to swing so far into one way, not realizing that it's actually just like a trauma response, or it's like, you know, it's just not a very balanced perspective.
So you would say that you lean more into family, things like that?
Yeah, because I'm ethnically Lebanese. I was raised in an Arab household, and I think, you know, Arab culture and Latino culture have that in common a little bit, where the women are taught with very traditional values, you know, like taking care of the home, taking care of the, you know, there's pros and cons to that, of course, but that's why, I would definitely say I lean more towards the traditional.
All right, so now we got you in Miami, okay, and you're in this new career, social media, and what, you're like a year in, or now you've been doing it for a little while. Have you also noticed that this career kind of changed you a little bit? For somebody, or specifically a woman who has to like constantly be on camera. Like, can we talk about maybe that dark side, which is like, okay, I have to constantly be doing this. I'm feeding the screen my attention, my time, and sometimes I will lose the barrier of like reality and, you know, this audience. Does that ever happen to you?
Interesting. So, well, now that I'm thinking about it, because I've been living in Miami for like a little over a year now. Yeah. And I will say, so there's sometimes where I'll be walking out in public and somebody will recognize me from social. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So they'll come up to me and they're like, oh my God, like they talk to me like as if we're besties and like they know me personally. And like, I'm a very warm and friendly person, but there are some times where I'm not in the same switched on, you know, camera mode, like, you know, I've got the whole persona on. Like sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to be perceived. Like I just want to be by myself doing my own thing. And it just takes, I'm like, okay, let me like, I really have to try to turn that on because this is what this person knows of me, you know? So I don't ever like to be cold or like dismissive at all, but that's been kind of interesting to navigate. Cause again, it's like, they know a certain side to me. Why are you laughing?
I'm just imagining you being like, give him the bird, like, and like, you don't have that appearance at all. But
no,
like,
I would never. I can't, like, I'm just not that kind of person. Like, it's honestly really sweet to me that they get so excited. Oh, I've been following you for a while. Oh, your podcast, I listen to it every morning, whatever. And it's like so sweet and so nice. But there's just times where like, when I'm out in public, I'm just not in that like celebrity type of energy, or just like a, you know, in the same mode that I'm in my videos. So I just kind of have to like work a little harder to keep that on stuff.
I would imagine the next step would be streaming, right? It seems like the streamers are the ones who are like just cash flow, right?
Yes, I was thinking about that the other day because I've focused mainly on short form with some long form with like my podcast and stuff. But I was thinking about it because again, there's so much of my life and personality that I just have never really put on socials like that. And I do have like my friend, I'm the funny friend, like in my friend group, like all, like my reactions to things or what I say or the jokes that I make or whatever. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should try streaming at some point. Like if I'm watching, do you know Love Island?
Yes.
Okay, so we were all watching that show obviously recently. It was like every night. I was like, I should do a stream where I'm just like watching it and then like I have the camera and like because I'll pause it if I hear something crazy and I'm like, did you guys just fucking hear that? Like that wasn't, whatever. Like just giving my live knee-jerk reactions, but I've never actually experimented with it, so I don't know. We'll have to see.
Why does Love Island like connect so well with women?
So
Like, why do you as women like are like? And I don't mean to like point this
No,
out,
no,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
I see Love Island, I see like, okay, man, this is for men. I would imagine most men feel this way. There's like this bone of cringe that I can't. I'm like, I feel bad for those men who are in these situations, and I can't tell that to them, but I'll be like trying to like yell at the screen like, hey man, stop, don't do that. But then they just continue, and I'm like, all right, turn it off.
Interesting.
But girls see Love Island, they're like, I gotta see more of that cringe. I gotta see what she's gonna do. Like for instance, somebody showed me a scene where a guy was like dancing on this girl, like he was stripping, and I just kept thinking to myself, if this was one of my guy friends, like I don't know if we would beat his ass after, but like we'd be like, don't ever do that again.
Yeah. That's so it's funny. So it sounds like for men, it is really just like it's like too cringy to the point where you just can't even get past it.
I don't even know if there's another level to like. I don't know where the next level of cringe is. Like they found it at Love Island. For us as men, we're like, whoa, like y'all found it.
It's really interesting. So I would also agree. I feel like Love Island in a lot of ways is a humiliation ritual. Like they get these people on here doing some crazy stuff, exposing themselves, just like putting themselves in these crazy situations. So there is that element, I think, of cringe to it for sure that makes it on the opposite end almost addictive for people to watch.
Yeah.
But I will say for women, I think it's a much different experience because what we're actually, so from our perspective, when we're watching Love Island, it's like a social experiment, right? We're watching the dynamics that are going down between people, whether it's friends, whether it's relationships, and we're making these observations and making these patterns that it's like, it almost is like anthropology in a way, where it's like you're noticing how people move in these like tribal situations, where it's like a group of people, they know they're being filmed, they know people are gonna be seeing it, and like you're picking up on their energy and it's like, okay, they handled this situation in this way. That's really interesting. It's like psychology. You're really just studying people and how they move and kind of drawing a bigger picture of what's happening in society right now. Because it's like, also you have this group of people that are on this show that are a pretty accurate representation, I would say, of a lot of people that exist in the pool of people that are around our age, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you see how maybe men or women are acting in that situation, and it's like, oh, okay, it's interesting because this is actually an issue that we're seeing in dating as a whole, So it's like that's how it is for us. It's like you're observing and you're like noticing things, and it's drawing a lot of attention to maybe some of the issues that we all have in our personal dynamics, with other people. It's just like it's very, very interesting.
So from what you're saying, you would say that women are looking past the cringy, goofy. They can kind of see this more as like an actual social experiment.
No, because it literally, I mean, if you think about it, I mean,
That's
I don't
what
know
they
if
say.
you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the context of Love Island, but they basically get a bunch of these people. They had tried to recruit me for like 3.
I would imagine. You seem like one of the people that would be like, oh, she would do really well. Yeah.
But I just can't, because the kind of shit that they have them do on those shows is like unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. And I mean, we can talk about that too, but because I had a viral reel pop off where I said that. I was like, my random lore is that Love Island has tried casting me for the past 3 seasons, and I refuse to embarrass I'm Arab, so I refuse to embarrass my family on TV like that. And people had crazy, like some people were like, hell yeah, and other people were like, oh, you want a cookie? Like you're being so judgmental, yada yada. So that's like a whole other conversation that we could get into. But basically the context of Love Island is they get a bunch of these people and they put them through this rigorous interview process to, get them on the show. And then once they reach a certain point where they're about to film, they isolate all of them and they take away all of their phones. So these people are just in hotel rooms by themselves. They have no interaction with the outside world whatsoever. And they're not even told if they're really going to be in the villa or not. They just kind of leave them hanging until the last minute. And then once they get the people that are going into the villa, they get them in there. And again, they have no contact with the outside world. They don't even know what time it is. They have these little like phones that they give them, but all they can do is take photos on them. There's no other functionality that they have. They don't talk to their family. They don't talk to their friends. It's literally just them with these other people in the villa with no external influence at all whatsoever. And they know they're being recorded the entire time. They know as well that it's going to be televised, and they're going to get a lot of attention. They know that they're going to walk out of the villa being famous, essentially. Like, people will be able to recognize them on the street.
Yeah.
And so it is a social experiment, because you see how people are moving, knowing all of those things. You know, like, people, they know that they're being recorded and they're being put on television. They know that edits are being made of them on TikTok, and everybody is like weighing in. So it's like, you know, that puts people in it's like a pressure cooker almost too. We've seen people have live psychotic breaks on this show, because it's so like high intensity and so stressful. So it really is a social experiment, and seeing how people move is really fascinating.